welcome to Moral High Ground, where I'm talking about what's morally right. Okay, so today I'm talking about tradition. I'm talking about the celebration of the holiday spirits. Okay, I'm talking about tradition, period, because that's the problem nowadays. Get my microphone out the way. My other microphone. But yeah, I'm talking about celebration. I'm talking about tradition. I'm talking about passing down legacies. Okay, this is the holiday season, and this is what we got to do. We're passing it down to the children by giving them gifts. It's been passed down to us, and so on and so on. And you know, the whole thing about it is we're talking about the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. Even though there's a lot of atheists out there, and a lot of people that don't believe Jesus was born on this day, and it has pagan roots because the Catholics pretty much made all the gods saints. All the saints get worshipped instead of, they get prayed to. People pray to their saints instead of praying directly to Jesus or God. And so that's a tradition that the Catholic Church created. Uh, I forget the guy who set the holidays and the worship places, but they were still going off of what they learned from the Greeks, and Romans stole their gods, um, and changed their names around. And so, with that being said, it's like we're celebrating holidays that might not be the exact day of biblical accuracy. And so that tradition of Jesus' birth got passed down to person, family to family, culture to culture. Everyone knows about holiday, this holiday, and Easter, and all these other days that has to do with Christ. Not too many people know about Ash Day. That's another Catholic and Protestant uh, holiday. It's pretty much like Passover. Um, and so, with that being said, that's a tradition that gets passed down to honor the birth and death of Christ, as well as um, pretty much understanding that there's a connection with God and Christ and man, which is the main thing. Uh, and so, with that being said, there's lots of holidays that has traditions that we don't know about because we don't know the accuracy of them. Like Halloween was one I used to trip on, Samhain or something like that. It's a holiday that was practiced that made Halloween or whatever. Many different ones. There's one where they started it to pretty much scare off monsters or whatever, and then it's a considered a Christian holiday at the same time. And then there's a one where it's a demonic holiday involved, uh, where you sacrifice one of the firstborn children, something like that. I heard so many of them, and after a while, I just said, "Go to hell with Halloween," because it's more of a little kid holiday anyway. You dress up in costumes and you go do stuff. And seeing how I can't take the mask off and I terrify people all the time, one day out of the year doesn't really matter. So that's a tradition, a holiday that's passed down. We just went through Thanksgiving, been passed down forever. Some people don't celebrate it based off of the stuff that went on in the past with, you know, Native Americans, indigenous people, and pretty much the Spaniards that came over and try to conquer. They like to talk about Columbus all the time, and they leave out Marco Polo and all these other people. And so, uh, the thing that I'm saying here is that these things should be celebrated in some ways. And some holidays, American holidays, I have to question. Why? Because they give, they make their heroes the ones that draw the most attention, the ones that did the big yelling and the big screaming, and the ones that did the fighting and whatnot. We got President's Day. Before it was just Lincoln's Day, Washington Day, and all this stuff. You had Columbus Day at one time too. And, we have Martin Luther King's birthday. That's questionable to me too, because why not have Malcolm X Day? You know, truly, Martin Luther King had his time to say what he said that was about uniting the people and about bringing forth, peace amongst blacks and whites and so forth. But Malcolm X, if you read his book and stuff, you would realize that Malcolm X is talking about the black man struggle in a way that Martin Luther King didn't. And so that's why so many people that's black understand Malcolm X more than Martin Luther King in a way, because they look at Martin Luther King as a way, and you can make negative comments, I don't care, but they look at it like as if he bowed down, he compromised, he became sympathetic to the cause in a way. And Malcolm X was more about, came at it with a more militant type of way, but at the same way of uniting, standing strong, standing proud, and not letting these other people come about and destroy, your way of life. Protect your way of life and those of your ilk. Except for that doesn't happen. So, in so many ways, both their dreams were denied. But the traditions should always be passed down, either if you're for Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. There's one thing I do know. There's not a lot of good traditions being passed down amongst the black community. And it's like, not just that, it's not the same thing with males. There's not enough tradition getting passed down with men anymore. And you can see it, especially if you were a guy that grew up and you had a father or grandfather or somebody that was in your life, or uncle, I don't care, that was teaching you the way, teaching you the right way and how to do things. Then so you know how it is to be a man. But then you go out here and you see people and they act like they're born in their mother's ass, like they have no common sense, don't know left from right, and will do anything for a laugh or a quick buck or whatever they can get, you know. And so the thing I gotta say about that is it's like the tradition of masculinity and manhood needs to be established again. You know, camping and stuff. People, take the kids out camping to bond with them guys or whatever. But it's like in the urban cities and stuff, most people can't afford to do that. They can't afford to take their kids, especially in the black community. There's not too many of them going out camping. There's not too many of them going fishing or any of these things. So the tradition of having that male bonding or whatever is gone. And even when you say it, they have found a way to pervert it, which isn't right. And to be honest, every time you say something like brotherhood or masculinity or any of that, man, they find a way to pervert it now. And that's the thing I hate about modern society. It's like, okay, I get it. You want to sexualize everything, but life isn't about that. Life's about paying your bills and getting stuff done. Making sure you can eat, survive, and stay alive. And that's the bottom line, man. Because SLK said so. Okay. And it's the honest to God truth. You can't sit around and just, okay, yeah, everybody wants someone they can connect with, touch with, and love. But unless you can have values that can keep you solid and grounded, you're worthless. And yes, it's like sex is amazing. It's the most beautiful thing. Okay. Women are awesome. Okay. It's just nice and warm and squishy. And man, how could you go the other way? It's amazing, man. But that don't mean you gotta sell yourself short. That don't mean you gotta try to break your neck to try to get something. That don't mean you just do it to anything you see that's walking, because that girl could have venereal disease or freaking malaria. I don't know, but you gotta watch out for that stuff. So it's just like you gotta be choosy, if you want. But you don't want to be shallow either. There might be a time you meet someone and you don't know what the hell they are, or what's going on with them. But and then one thing I can say about relationships is it starts off good because you want that closeness, you want that connection, and you found something attractive within that individual. But the tradition that's been passed down to teach people how to get together is lost. I believe it's lost, and it needs to be reestablished again. People talk, you hear girls talk about they want money, and guy that does this, and you got guys that sit there talking about don't listen to women, don't do this and that. But truly, if you truly love somebody, truly care for somebody, you understand what I'm saying. It makes a lot of sense. But if you truly love somebody, you're gonna love them no matter what. You're gonna have their back and be supportive of what they are trying to do. Just make sure that you're putting your faith in the right person. You know what I mean? You don't have to, you know, oh, she's an OnlyFans girl or she's a stripper or ex porn star. Don't love her. She got too many notches in her belt or whatever they be saying. Okay, but at the same time, you got to think of it like this: do you really like her? Do you really love her? Or do you want to give her a chance? Life is short, and if that's the case, you can't judge her. You can't take it and do the tit for tat thing like girls like to do when you tell them your history and they try to throw it back in your face. No, you got to be stronger than that. That's a woman thing. So if a woman was a porn star, okay, that was her thing. Okay, why throw it back in her face? She's good at having sex. Hell, just big ass just giving it to you. Support her in her cause if that's what you want to do. If your heart can't get broken with that, I think it takes a strong, solid person to be able to deal with that. Just be able to look over that and be able to stay with a woman. And I don't think it's the fact that they're wimps or simps or whatever the hell y'all call it, you know. Because yes, there's those that do that and then they're getting ran all over. But at the same time, it's just like you got to look at it like a woman's gonna do what she want to do, and ultimately, a woman chooses a man, not a man chooses a woman. Man hunts and looks and searches, eventually finds, but what he finding already chose him. And so that's the truth. But a woman wants a guy that can be understanding and listen and be able to help them, uh, whatever cause they got. And so that's a tradition that needs to be taught. You need to be taught to support the person you love. Don't betray them by throwing stuff back at them, trying to put them under the bus, trying to talk behind their back, and trying to make them feel lesser than human. Support the person you love, care about them, and give them all the respect and kindness you can so it can be returned back to you tenfold. Okay? That tradition needs to be taught again. Needs to learn how to love. Women got to learn how to. Because I was just talking about the guy aspect, though, pretty much right there. Guys got to respect these women. Okay? This is what they do now. They created this new system where they're OnlyFans, they're porn stars, and all this stuff. And be honest, like I said about the city, in the city, traditions are different compared to someone who's raised in the rural area, the farm area. They go out hunting and stuff. And dad and son done bonded, fished and jumped in the water hole, whatever they done did, monster truck stuff, I don't know. And they're cool. But in the city, it's totally different. So what I'm saying is when I became an adult, my way of passage was going to the nudie bar. Sitting there, it was a perfect place to get some drinks, you know, sit there, watch girls dance with the real lovely, voluptuous goddesses, magically delicious, uh, tasty morsels, and video poker. You put $5 in, and you get $150, and that's why the nudie bar is the best place for. How can I say this? A rite of passage for a man. Okay, I know it sounds stupid. It probably does, but it was my rite of passage, damn it. And I had that rite of passage for years. So just go there and drink and play video poker and look at goddesses and semi goddesses. I guess you would say semi, because then you say demigod. So semi goddesses, like goddesses in training, are almost close to being goddesses. But that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. So, but to me, that was a rite of passage, because it's in Portland back in the day, Portland, Oregon. People talk about Vegas and all this crap, but Portland had the most adult entertainment places in the country at one time. I remember at least 110 in the city of Portland alone. And so, I mean, you go by, there's a nudie bar, or there's a adult uh, like parlor massages. It like right now, you can go down this street on 82nd. There's like four within the same block, adult entertainment places, or modeling, lingerie modeling places. You go in there, and all it is like lap dances with strippers that eventually, ride you, give you BJ or something. But this was what the tradition was, because Portland has always been a whore town, at least it was. And so that's my point, is that, because I went way off topic, but my point is that these traditions with certain things women do shouldn't be, because it's an institution. It's a business. Sex sells, as they say, but it's not morally sane, because we want a woman that's able to love us. But the thing with, and here's another thing. So the thing with love, especially loving somebody who's been with multiple people, is, and this is my opinion, the more you have sex, the more you lose yourself. And people don't understand that, but it's like, at first, when you first start loving or having sex, you're really deeply in love. You got the passion. You want this person constantly. And then it just slowly starts to get chipped away every time you're with another person, every time you're doing it out of passion for someone. It slowly starts to die, because the other person isn't as connected as you. That person probably had more people than you, or whatever. And then it might be a case where you get a girl and you didn't have more girls than her. So it's just back and forth. Either way, you start to lose yourself a bit, stop the care. And so this is why people end up lonely, uh, not happy in the relationships they're with. So, the tradition of marriage is lost. With the concept that blows my mind with the tradition of marriage is, here's what blows my mind. We know it's established by God, an ultimate bond to make two become one. Two heads are better than one. They double the pleasure and triple the fun. And so, it's like the night when two become three, okay, or however that Spice Girl song goes. But the thing I'm trying to say is this: that we should honor the old tradition of marriage. Stick with someone until life ends, till you're at the end. It's hard to find someone to connect and truly bond. Someone you enjoy, not so much someone you just like to have sex with. That's where it goes wrong. You want to have sex with them constantly. This is all you like, unless you both like it. But you gotta have other interests, and when time get hard, if that person's not trying to help you when things get hard, then the sex was meaningless altogether. There was no real love there. It was just doing it. So you have to be able to have that tradition between you and God and this individual to establish something great. And because no one truly takes God serious, this is why so many of you guys are divorced or whatever. And excuse me, that relationship means nothing. And the bad part is, you took marriage and you perverted it once again, like everything else, and made things get married that don't need to be getting married. Like people marrying digital. Damn, I don't know what's going on. But people marrying digital things and animals and all kinds of crap. Things that's illogically just insane. Pretty much is just insane. It doesn't make no sense why you're marrying a Digimon or whatever the hell that dude in Japan married, and all this crap. So The tradition has been tainted, has been toxified, and ruined. So we need to